Hey, class, what's going on? So, just wanted to talk about the cause and effect or the causal essay that you got coming up. See if this helps out a little bit. So, a cause and effect essay is essentially what we're doing here is we're taking the ideas from Ishmael and we're trying to connect them to this idea. I'm not saying that it has to be about Ishmael, but what I'm saying is some of the things that you have learned in Ishmael should help with your thinking here as to what has caused some of the events that we have today. So the focus of this cause and effect essay should either be on the current state of our environment or the current state of our civilization and what causes have led to these issues. Okay. So when you think about like the causal chain, exercise and stuff like that from the sport class, these are the types of things that should help you kind of sh- seeing how to order these ideas. One thing leads to the next and the next and the next. So you can pick your own topic or you can choose one of the two topics below, but it has to be about either the current state of our environment around the world, what's going on with the oceans, climate change, that kind of stuff, or it has to be about current state of civilization around the world. All right, and what's going on with it, and what it is, how it affects us and the planet. So, you got to incorporate some ideas you've learned in Ishmael. That should be some of your basis of thinking. If you use anything from the book, you need to quote it, but this should come from you, your own thoughts, your own ideas. All right. So here's some suggested topics. Humans have nearly brought the planet to its knees in an environmental crisis. Talking about unless you're unaware, we're in the sixth great extinction of the Earth. Species are dying faster than when the dinosaurs were killed. So you can talk about that. Anyways, humans have nearly brought the planet to its knees in environmental crisis that has never been seen before. Discuss the causes that led to this, or you can discuss, despite the scientific facts and warnings that we as a species are nearing extinction, humans are still completely apathetic to the end of all life on Earth that approaches. Discuss the possible causes for this apathy in the face of extinction. All right. So those are just two topics that I've suggested for you. All right, just the basic do's and don'ts of this essay. There should be no I or you in this essay, no we or us, unless you're talking about like all of us as humans. But it should be third person only. Normally, you would suggest like three causes that lead to that are all linked to one effect. If you're, one for each body paragraph, if you're efficient, you may be able to do more, but, the basic standard is the 3 point thesis. This is caused by this, this, and this. And the this, and this are your body paragraphs. Um, the introduction should contain a thesis that lets the reader know what we're talking about, followed by some background information on the topic, and a thesis that includes your most important causes and the effect or effects that they are creating, that they're causing. In other words, your causal change. So, in other words, your thesis can be something like uh, much of the devastation done to the planet's environment has its roots in agriculture, which led to civilization, which led to mass pollution and climate change, for example. That's my body paragraphs and my main point. So that would be like my thesis. This essay has a conclusion, and generally, like all conclusion, it wraps up all your main points and shows that there's a relationship between them. So the purpose is just for you to be able to identify one effect, one thing, and its causes, and to be able to express that. I kind of made like a loose introduction for you. For instance, with your first sentence, it's good to put something in thesis. Like if I'm talking about climate change and destruction to the planet, I could mention, for instance, I could start off with something interesting, like in the news the other day. 10 billion crabs, not million, but billion crabs died off the coast of Alaska. 345 elephants dropped dead in Africa, all due to extreme temperatures and heat caused by global warming. Um, so that might be like a way to introduce it, and provide a quote or statistic about climate change or mass extinction. And then maybe I can just, discuss that idea for a while, that never before has there been such overwhelming scientific evidence or so many scientists that agree on this idea, and then I drop in my thesis, right? And so those main points in your thesis will go on to be each of the main points in your body paragraphs. And you drop it, you start a body paragraph with that main topic or main point. For example, I've got an example for you here. You know how our addiction to civilization is called urban sprawl, so that cities cover nearly half the world, which leads to blank by blank by blank. Then I explain that idea, right? Okay. And, I do that for 3 body paragraphs and wrap everything up in a conclusion. All right. So this will be the first essay. This first essay requires no research. The final exam for this class is going to be this same essay, but you're going to revise it and you're going to add quoted research into it and a reference page. So essentially, this is going to be 2 essays. I have provided you an example essay of what I consider to be an A essay by a student, the cause and effect example essay. It is one that is completed with research in it. Keep in mind, this first draft does not require research. This should all be you, all your ideas. All right. You also have this source about how to write a causal essay I have for you in the content, which I think does a really good job of explaining the ways to set up an outline and how to write a causal chain. And I think it can be a wonderful resource. So please check it out, read it. It's extremely effective. Example, look at this thesis statement. Today's parents have an obligation to help their children maintain a healthy weight because childhood obesity presents a number of negative health and psychological effects, both immediately and in the future. See, I can tell by that the cause and effect here is that childhood obesity causes negative negative health problems and psychological effects, both in their childhood and in the future. So I know that, the cause is childhood obesity, and the effects that we're going to see are going to be, these negative health effects, both now and in future life, and psychosocial too. So probably 4 body paragraphs. So in this case, we have, one root cause and several effects, but you might have, for instance, several causes and one final effect. Like, for instance, climate change is the final effect, and it is caused by blank, 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 and blank. Or you might have that climate change causes blank, 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 and blank. So there's 2 different ways to do this causal essay. There's one root cause that has many effects, or you may have one massive effect that had many causes. So you got 2 different ways to write this essay. All right. So there's some wonderful examples here. This is a wonderful resource where you can kind of, check out how to lay things out, right? How to lay out an outline for the essay. All right. I hope that is helpful.